Brisk and cold out here today in New London, Connecticut. So, first time walking the hat out, wearing it out. It's a good opportunity to highlight part of my walk-away story. And in an effort of transparency to whatever comes of this, I've used my real name, my real location. I already know the doxing and stuff that's happening to conservatives. That's okay. I'm taking all these risks on, knowing that they're there, but I think that there's a good intent and good purpose behind it. So, part of my walkaway story, I explained in the introduction my ethnicity. I grew up in an urban environment, went back and forth. In my early 20s, I got heavily involved in drugs, and as a result of that, I did quite a few years in prison. And it was in prison the last time. I was there for 4 years, and it's really towards the end of that my views started to so radically change, and I started to see the lack of logic in things, and I've shared this anecdotal story with a lot of people in my personal life, but I'll share it here. So I got so sick and tired of hearing this endless argument that blacks had, mainly in prison, over crack and crack sentencing laws, and how they're aimed at black people. They're meant to keep black people down, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Now that all may be very true, but instead of spending so much energy on changing crack sentencing laws, why don't we put energy into convincing people not to possess crack? That kind of solves the problem, right? It's a misdirection of energy I saw there. And the fact that Bill Clinton in the state of Connecticut, that's where I did my time or whatever, Bill Clinton is the one that took college education out of prison. That was Bill Clinton. In his 1994-95 Crime Act, he reinforced the 100-to-1 disparity in sentencing laws. So those laws that these guys were there debating, you know what I'm saying, and claiming were meant and targeted towards them, I believe they started in the late 80s. Clinton had a chance through the bill to end that, but he upheld it. He reinforced the sentencing guidelines. And in that bill, he took the college out of prisons, the opportunity to take college courses and stuff. If you study history and you look, at the same time he passed this bill taking away regulations from big banks and financial institutions. So at the same time that he was stepping and grinding low-level drug offenders into the dirt, he was giving his financial interests the leeway to help rape our country. So the same people sitting around the table arguing about these sentencing laws all thought it was going to be the end of the world too when Trump got elected. And once again, why? Why did we all think that? Why were we all so convinced that this guy was a monster when there's no factual basis behind it? Why were we all convinced? Box on the wall, you know? I cheered, once again. I was in prison when Barack Obama got elected. And I cheered, you know, change. I felt for it. I believed in it. I believed his BS. And I was on the bandwagon, and I thought it was great that we were getting getting a president that had, you know, racial mixture in him. He was half black, half white, whatever. I jumped on the bandwagon, and Obama was a big lie. Obama did more to hurt us than he did to help us in his 8 years, and some of that reaches criminality, which will be coming out in the course of the next months and a couple of years. But the truth be told is, once again, it's all that box on the wall. When I separated from the box on the wall and started to look behind these things, I started to see a whole different picture of the world based on facts and logic, and not based on emotion and what do they call it? Identity politics. Like, you know, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're a xenophobe, homophobe. My own views, being part black, are probably stronger than most people's. It's the conservative wing of black America who says it's time to stop being a victim and time to take responsibility for where you're at right now. They rioted in the streets of Ferguson, Missouri. Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. We all remember that. But after Obama and Holder, both black men, their Justice Department's report found that, Micheal Brown actually did punch the cop in the eye, broke his eye socket, and he had gunshot residue on his hand, which reinforced the cop's claim that he had gone for the gun. That's when he shot. Through witness testimony, they discovered that there never ever was a hands up, don't shoot. That was something that was made up and disseminated through the media, much like the Covington kids and the video I linked in the last one. So, once again, the key to me, the key to breaking out of the matrix of being told what to thought and having the freedom to have beliefs that are in line with my core principles was getting away from that box on the wall and starting to research some truth and some facts. So, first little journey out in a cold New England day. Wearing the MAGA hat. Supporting jobs and tax cuts. Supporting a strong military, especially since my son is now a U.S. Navy sailor. Even though I did time in prison, I support the police and I support a non-militarized police force that supports the Constitution, pretty much. We need police. If you had no laws and no police, the selfish desires of mankind are allowed to run free. That's when you get crime and other things. But to all those out there who are convinced, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that our president is a homophobic, racist, sexist, xenophobe, I implore you, please disconnect from the box and do some homework and try to find the facts that are being used to back up those claims, and you're going to see that there are none. You're just being told by that box how to think. And they've perfected this over a long period of time, you know. Our country's doing really good right now as far as economically and as far as direction, as far as the fact that unbeknownst to many, the swamp is being drained. There's legal actions that are happening as we speak to hold some criminals in our government accountable. The Mueller investigation may not be what it seems. February 8th, maybe not. Look out for the announcement that John Brennan and Jim Comey have been indicted for sedition against a duly elected president and treason. Little spoiler alert, maybe that'll happen, maybe that won't happen, but be on the lookout on the 8th for that. So, my first day out with the good old MAGA hat, little introduction to who I am and what I believe, why I'm doing this, and why I'm putting my safety and well-being at jeopardy by rocking a MAGA hat in deep New England. Peace and love to all, man.